Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Basis Points, where we dive deep into the numbers and the stories that drive our economy and shape our world. The headlines. The Philippine Central Bank is set for more rate cuts, with Governor Eli Remolona Jr. confirming that they remain in the easing cycle. The country's balance of payments position turns into a deficit in October. Golden MV Holdings, the investment arm of billionaire Manny Villar, faces a profit slump. And Donald Trump and Elon Musk strengthen their friendship at the latest test flight of SpaceX. First, a look at the financial markets. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 and tech-heavy Nasdaq closed higher Tuesday, driven by a surge in tech stocks. Investors are eagerly awaiting results from chipmaker NVIDIA, while the shares of Walmart jumped after the retailer raised its annual forecasts.
The market started off the day with a bit of a concerned tone based on the geopolitical information going on between the Ukraine and Russia. The market had a little bit of a pullback early on, but quickly got past it, and we're now in positive territory. So I think the market digested that news flow from overseas and the potential concern there, and we've continued this post-election rally. It seems that the market's in the mood for.
Over in Europe, markets closed lower amid rising tensions between Russia and Ukraine. London's FTSE 100 drops by 0.1%, while the DAX and CAC 40 both fall by 0.7%. Here in the Asia-Pacific, stocks are trading mostly higher after a mixed day on Wall Street. Investors are also eyeing October trade data from Japan, which shows exports rose 3.1%, bouncing back from a decline in September. In the commodities market, oil prices are on the rise, now trading at $73 per barrel. Gold also climbed, currently at $2,634 per troy ounce. The Philippine Central Bank is on course for more rate cuts. Bangko Sentral Governor Eli Remolona Jr. asserts that they're still in the easing cycle, so rate reductions are still likely next month and even into 2025. He predicts further cuts of around 100 basis points in total. So far this year, the BSP has lowered interest rates by a cumulative 50 basis points as inflation slows. The August rate cut was the first in nearly 4 years. This policy shift signals a bold move to stimulate economic growth in the Philippines, making loans more affordable and providing relief to consumers and businesses. The country's balance of payments position swings into a deficit. In October, the Philippines recorded a $723 million deficit, marking a sharp contrast to the $1.5 billion surplus in the same month last year. However, for the first 10 months of the year, the cumulative balance of payments position registered a surplus of $4.4 billion, outpacing the $3.2 billion surplus recorded in 2023. The central bank attributes this to continued net inflows from personal remittances, trade-in services, and to net foreign borrowings by the national government. This deficit in October doesn't signal a long-term trend, as the country's overall economic fundamentals remain strong, with resilient remittances and foreign investments helping to support a positive cumulative surplus for the full year. Terra Solar Philippines taps Energy China to help build what will be the world's largest solar and battery power plant. Under their contract, Energy China, which operates in over 140 countries, will handle procurement, design, manufacturing, logistics, and site delivery. Terra Solar chose Energy China due to its proven experience in executing large-scale renewable energy projects. The project will feature a 3,500 megawatt peak solar power plant, along with a 4,500 megawatt hour battery storage system. Located in Central Luzon, the facility is expected to supply clean energy to over 2 million households. This massive project will play a crucial role in the Philippines' push towards sustainable energy, helping to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and promoting clean power across the nation. The investment arm of billionaire Manny Villar hits a profit slump. Golden MV Holdings reported a 3% drop in its 9-month earnings, falling to 1.1 billion pesos. Revenues dipped by 19%, mainly due to a decrease in residential unit sales. Interest income from contract receivables also fell by 33%. However, income from Interment services increased by 23%, driven by more demand. On another front, Double Dragon Corporation wraps up its 10 billion peso bond offering 2 days ahead of schedule. This came as strong investor demand led to an oversubscribed order book. The offering was initially set to run until today, but was cut short on Monday by lead underwriters RCBC, Land Bank, and Unicapital. The bonds, which have a 5.5-year maturity, carry an annual interest rate of 8%. The issuance is part of Double Dragon's 30 billion peso bond program, which is aimed at funding its expansion plans and strengthening its financial position. Overseas, Donald Trump and the world's richest man, Elon Musk, strengthened their growing friendship as the United States president-elect personally witnesses the latest test flight of SpaceX. Trump flew to South Texas to watch the launch of the Starship rocket, which is designed to eventually land astronauts on the moon and ferry crews to Mars. However, the flight didn't go perfectly as the reusable booster failed to return to the launch pad, as it had in a previous test last month. Instead, the booster splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico. We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line. Welcome back to Basis Points. Trading at the Philippine Stock Exchange opened just a few minutes ago. Let's take a look at the initial figures. Right now, 9:39 this morning, the PSE is extending the gains which began last Friday, which came on the back of 4 weeks of losses. After rising 0.6% yesterday, the PSE index is up by 0.3% to 68.23. The broader all shares index is up as well, up not by as much, up slightly, up by 0.1% to 38.17. Taking a look at the sub indices, we're looking at mostly gains. The financials, industrial, holding firms, services, and mining and oil counters are in the green, while the property counter is going slightly the other way, although marginally down by just 0.2% this morning. Now, at the foreign exchange market, the peso opened flat against the greenback. It opened at 58.80 compared to its previous close of 58.81. Now, to help us make sense of these numbers, we're now joined by Juanes Bero, the Chief Technical Analyst at CWL Financial Group. Welcome to the show, Juanes.
Hello, Maiki. Thank you for having me.
Hi, Juanes. It's good to have you. We're at an interesting junction on this roller coaster ride that is the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. After Trump threw a monkey wrench at the market's rally, we've seen some pretty wild swings. The PSE index reached October highs, plunged nearly 12%, and now it seems to be bouncing back. Can you break down the factors behind the volatility that we've been seeing? And is this just a technical rebound from oversold levels, or is there something more to this rally?
Okay. So I guess we'll start from the beginning. What caused the corrective volatility was really it all started when Trump was voted in, and that's clearly a circumstance that was telling us that investors are adjusting portfolios based on the potential policy changes he may make. And it is quite known that since he's a very pro-American position, then that means that underlyingly that could be positioning to strengthen the dollar, and some of the policies are also deemed to be quite inflationary. So given these two prospects, a stronger dollar and a potential inflation, the expectation that interest rates may stay higher for longer came back into play, and was the reason that bond yields attempted to be able to climb back up. So these are the two main reasons that engaged markets downwards, and we did see quite a bit of pressure from other markets who had to be able to factor in currency adjustments to their local markets, and that's one of the reasons main reasons why we saw the Philippine market come down. Mm-hmm. And answer to your,
Yeah, go ahead.
And in answer to your second question, is this just a technical rebound? The way we normally would do this is we will feel that it is until it shows that it is more than that, or we can see something else change. Like if the dollar or yields can come down, that should be able to allow our rebound to be quite stronger rather than what would just be a moderating rally for the index as what we think it might be for the meantime.
Yeah, that's right. People are wondering, is the momentum we're seeing, on the technical side, is it more bullish or is it more bearish? In your opinion, and based on historical perspectives, what do you think of our current situation? What does the past tell you about where we are now and where we're headed?
If you had asked me that question 3 months ago, I would have still said bullish and be quite optimistic about it. Now I've had to be able to temper it in such a, yes, I'm still bullish, but there might be a bit more volatility involved, the recovery phase, and it may not be as easy to do it, especially if the dollar and yields do not come down. I mean, to me, that is something that we have to be able to be putting a very close eye on, because if that breaks resistance where they seem to be standing near right now, that might generate more corrective pressure into the market. So we have to keep our eyes open for this.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the corporate earnings front, for third quarter corporate earnings, we saw a mixed bag, a mixed picture, reflecting both growth and challenges. What insights do you gather from these mixed readings, Juanes?
Well, we did expect that there might be that mixed bag in terms of earnings, and that's because, of course, of the higher interest rate environment that we had come from. That suffocates business drive, and this is really the reason why we want rates to come down more. So it was nice to hear the BSP plug in that program of theirs to be able to front load more potential interest rate cuts, because that would help alleviate some of the pressure that we're seeing through companies as of current.
Yeah.
So I think investors will have to be very watchful in how the earnings stream come in. Those that are in line with estimates or are outperforming, I think investors should keep watch for those for potential buy-ins, especially into this correction. Those that are underperforming or that really getting hit by it, maybe you can wait a little bit, wait for them to bottom out before you look into those particular types of companies.
Mm-hmm. Juanes, you mentioned interest rates. BSP Chief Eli Romolono Jr. said that the BSP is still in its easing cycle, very much intact there. Mm-hmm. Bank of America, meantime, is forecasting a 25 basis point rate reduction every quarter, beginning in the fourth quarter of this year up until the third quarter of 2025, for a cumulative 100 basis point reduction over the course of 12 months. The BSP has a similar view. Where do you think this trajectory is going to take the stock market, and what's it going to mean for growth in general for the country?
Well, interest rates going down is bullish for the market. So that's why I would maintain my bias towards that direction and use these bouts of weakness as an opportunity to pick up stock at these good levels. In fact, if you were to look at the list of the 30 index members right now, you'd find that about 27 of them are trading at least 10% at a discount to their fair value. And that means that you do have some potential upside for that if things were to just normalize. Mm-hmm. So I would really stay on the bullish side.
Okay, good to hear. We're going to be flashing a graph on some information on the screen, and it has to do with the stocks that the best performers and the worst performers year to date, meaning from January until present day. If you take a look at the top gainers, we've got Converge, ICT at the top of that list. That stock is up by 96.42%, followed by ICTSI, Metro Bank, BPI, and Century Pacific. On the flip side, the top losers for the year are Cignal Asia, JG Summit, Bloomberry Resorts, Wilcon, and URC. As we move into 2025, what do you suggest investors pick up right now? This is what's on sale: Cignal Asia, JG Summit, Bloomberry Resorts, Wilcon Depot. But based on the economic environment ahead, which of these firms do you think will perhaps outperform moving forward?
I still think your first list will still do well, but the idea is to buy them when they pull back a little bit. In fact, if you were to look at all the issues that you just showed that were top gainers, every one of them is either in line or ahead of their earnings estimates. If you look at all the issues you saw on the decline, all of them are under estimates of earnings. So I think that should be able to tell you why they're leading or why they're lagging. It's just a repercussion of whether they're beating earnings or whether they're underperforming.
Okay, pushing that envelope a little bit more. There are a lot of external uncertainties, but one thing for sure is Trump 2.0. What are the sectors or specific stocks that you believe will outperform either by capitalizing on potential opportunities or because of the relative isolation from Trump's protectionist policies? We'll do the positive first, which you think will outperform, and on the flip side, we'll go to that after you answer this one.
Well, we're looking selectively. Banks, yes, we like them. We also like some utilities or companies that are producing dividends as well. So if I may just name a few, I mean, of course, ICT, Meralco, Converge, Manila Water would be on our list, as well as the banks of BDO, BP.
Okay, I think we're having some technical difficulties. We seem to have lost Juanes Bero, but in any case, we're going to take a quick break. Basis Points will be right back. Welcome back to Basis Points. From its debut in 2014, Toyota Motor Philippines is set to expand its iconic Vios race series next year. And this time, they may allow rival brands to join in on the action. Our mobility correspondent, G. Baroga, takes us to the racetrack.
Toyota Gazoo Racing Philippine Cup closes its 2024 season with 35 Vios race cars on the grid. Drivers come from across the country, all sharing the same love for cars and motorsports. This year's revamped series featured 3 high-octane race weekends, with the final round showcasing a heart-pounding showdown for the season's title. Toyota Motor Philippines President Masando Hashimoto, who's also part of the grid, has had a fantastic season while sharing his hopes for the upcoming year.
We know that this Vios TGR Philippine Cup is one of the biggest racing format among the racing scene. So we want to make it bigger, and furthermore, we improve this event to gather more people inside. Not only Toyota people, but also we can across any other brand as well. That is my dream.
Hashimoto-san's vision is inspired by Japan's Super Taikyo Race series, where motorsports isn't just about winning, but about bringing people together.
So many people gather together and get connected. Not only racers or motorsports members, but also some media or even government officers or suppliers as well. So all the members come together at the racing venue, and then they utilize this, circuit salon as a social or community.
Toyota plans to fuel the future of motorsports with the TGR Philippine Cup, building on its mantra, "We love cars." For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
Before we go, we take you to the United Kingdom, where autonomous underwater robots are being developed to help inspect and repair offshore wind farms. The robots, powered by artificial intelligence, use 3D mapping technology to create detailed underwater maps. This allows them to navigate complex offshore structures and precisely identify components that need maintenance. The system is expected to deliver data insights in as little as 3 hours, a significant improvement from the current industry standard of 3 weeks. This innovation could have far-reaching impacts on the global business community, particularly in the renewable energy sector. It promises to increase the efficiency and reduce the costs of offshore wind farm maintenance, which could accelerate the transition to clean energy worldwide. Sea trials with industry partners are set to begin in early 2025.
Artificial intelligence is mainly a big autonomy engine that is analyzing the environment to see where should the robot go next to make collect good data about the environment and how to autonomously navigate between these different places, and also utilize the environment to its advantage. And that is by fusing all the sensor data from the robot together with the images from our camera system to ensure that it's operating in a safe and optimized way.
This project's looking at the elements of creating autonomy in the offshore sector where the environments are harsh, and we're trying to remove people from those dangerous situations, and also there's not enough people to do the kind of inspections or the frequency of inspections that are needed. So that's kind of the big problem that we're trying to solve here.
And that's it for Basis Points. I'm Maiki Oreta. We'll be back tomorrow for more news on the financial markets and more. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo news channel. Always on top.